Hello artists! In this final video with the sculpture project, we're going to look at a few ways that you can repair any broken pieces. Mine actually remained intact through the kiln firing process, but if you do have something that's broken, let's say an ear had come apart, just take the other piece, warm up a glue gun, apply a nice amount and really hold in place. And once that's cooled, you'll be able to cover any little cracks and paint over it. As far as the air holes go, or any other things that you need to kind of fill in, it could be also a crack from when it was drying. You're gonna take some of this wall compound, some drywall compound. You can just use a popsicle stick to apply it initially. So I'm gonna come in here. This could work as well, any areas that you kind of need to smooth out. But I made some air holes down here near these legs, so I'm going to be doing that. There's one right here, I don't know if you can see, under the chin. Okay, so I've applied that, and then actually your best blender is just your fingertip. You can even get a damp paper towel, something like that, just kind of smoothing that in and allow it to dry for a few minutes. So the wall spackling, you can share it at your table groups, one container, use the popsicle sticks, use your fingers, and just wash your hands when that's complete. One other step that we often will do, depending on the sculpture texture, mine's quite textural and I don't have a lot of smooth areas, but if you did, let's say along the bottom, I wanted to smooth this edge, you can just take some sandpaper. I do like to fold it over if possible. Okay, and you're just gonna get at some of those rough areas. Now you're never gonna get it completely smooth, but it will remove a pretty decent amount from the surface. So sandpaper is kind of that final step before we then move into painting. So for paints, you want to grab an apron, grab yourself a piece of wax paper and get drops of your different paint colors onto that paper. I have pre-mixed and pre-arranged mine, but I always like to make sure that I have white, that I have sort of lighter colors, like this was my main color for the squirrel, but I also want lighter versions and also darker options. So one of the things that you want to do, even if you did minimalism and it's a single color everywhere, get that single color, get yourself a light version and a dark version. So if my sculpture was going to be painted all blue, I would have like a regular blue, a sky blue, and also a deep navy blue. What that's going to let you do is really emphasize the three dimensions of it. So if we think about how your sculpture sits, how the light is hitting it, thinking about where there will be some shadows, okay? You can kind of paint things a darker tone in all the little cracks, crevices, and then on the tips of it, where the light would hit it, paint those highlights or those other tones. Fill a water container about halfway, get some different sized brushes here. I'm gonna just start with this large brush, okay? Move this out of my way. And you wanna dilute the paint slightly, because that's going to thin it out. It's going to let it kind of flow into the areas of your clay. You may find that you have to wiggle a little bit just to really get it in there. I'm just going in a liberal way with kind of a lighter color here as I work on the face. From that lighter color, okay, where I know it's kind of hitting things, I may start to then blend bit deeper tones down here under the eyes or around the eyes. Okay, so those colors are similar. And we can see here, blending out from the face. And as I make my way here to, you know, under the chin, I'm gonna actually go with that deeper color. Okay, and really blend in those shadows. So you could see where, yeah, you might have to wiggle a bit with the brush to really get into any areas of texture, okay? You also, of course, can come in with a smaller brush. So like right here, didn't want to get that on the initial part of the eye. There's gonna be highlights on these eyes. So I'll sort of paint the white underneath, let that dry for a bit, can come back, can start to get the black tones, okay, whatever I envision. So kind of getting here with my smaller brush, any areas where there's a fair bit of detail, you can take your time. So obviously I won't be painting this whole thing, but it's just to kind of give you a sense of it. Rinse your brush in between colors and, you know, just kind of thinking about how you can layer those paints here, okay, to really start to get those darker eyes, just to see how that's going to start to come. That's nice. Okay, how things will start to emerge with your sculpture. So this takes a bit of patience, but you should probably be able to get most of it painted within a class. Again, because the clay, is really absorbent and porous, it's just going to soak this up. So this area, I can actually handle it or touch it within 2 or 3 minutes. It has totally absorbed. I would carry on with this painting process. When I'm done, the wax paper, it can just get folded up, goes right into the garbage. Same with the paper that was covering your desk. You want to take your brushes back to the sink and really clean those, okay, with soap and water. Really swirl in the palm of your hand, get all that color out. And then the final step in our sculpting, painting, finishing is I will allow them to dry, and I will give everyone's a spray coating with this gloss Varathane, and that's just going to seal it in, protect it, make things nice and shiny. You don't need the Varathane for the sculpture to be finished. It is optional. So if you kind of don't want yours to look that way, just let me know and we can leave it this way, or we could spray it with a matte finished coating. So good luck and have fun finishing up your sculptures.